Hi, my name is Sam, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at a haul that I picked up from Dave over at West Coast Avengers. He had recently went over to Japan and hunted books over there and had sold them. Went out and supported the guy, picked up some books from him. So we're going to take a look at some manga, and then as well I picked up just some normal American comic books from him. But hey, we're going to have some really cool stuff in the video today, so I hope you enjoy it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, like I said, we're going to be taking a look at some manga right away. Everything that I have today, you can find pretty much in videos from when Dave had recently gone to Japan and picked up these books. So I'll be sure to go ahead and link in the description so you can check out Dave's videos where he is hunting these books down. I also forgot to mention that I do have some toys to actually look at. It's not anything that I picked up from Dave. From the last haul video, they kind of came in between, so I felt like this would be a place to kind of show that off. But first and foremost, we're going to take a look at the manga. We're going to take a look at the American comics. We're going to take a look at the toys. We're going to give you guys the 3 top things I recommend to add to your guys' collection, and then we're going to head off the video from there. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the first thing that I got. This is going to be the world of Akira Toriyama. Everybody knows Akira Toriyama, Dragon Ball Z, Dr. Slump, Sandland. I'm going to have to say he's probably the most influential anime artist in America, if I had to say. Especially with Dragon Ball, there probably isn't a bigger anime or manga than Dragon Ball. That's my guess. It still has a little band on it. These typically get lost, damaged, tossed out. So we're just gonna go ahead and move this out of the way. But you can see here, these cool little bands. All right, so this book is basically an art book. It's kind of a, retrospective, I guess, a look at just a bunch of different things that he had worked on throughout his career. This book was in the process of getting made / published. It was about to come out when he had passed away, and I believe they had delayed. This is cool. Very Metal Gear, what it reminds me of. This is cool. They delayed the release of the book because they didn't want it to be in bad taste, like they were trying to profit off of his death. Which makes sense, Japanese culture is a lot different than American culture. If this was an American book all day, they would cash out on that. There are some pretty interesting drawings that are in this from what I've noticed compared to other illustrations of Toriyama's. There's 2 drawings in there. This one, and I think there's another one where he's using really thick brush to get these outlines, which typically you would think, as you can see, that he would have definitely a lot of a thinner, more dynamic line. So seeing that where it's a lot more bold and cartoony looking, I honestly kind of like seeing his artwork like that. I wish there was kind of more of that, to be honest with you. I'm a big fan of the guy. Yeah, see, here's the cars, definitely has some bold outline on it, but not everything. In Sandland especially, you see a lot of that, and with Slump here you see a lot of that. Right away, I can tell you that with Slump, Switchblade Shorties at Piss Score, you can see got a lot of influence from, especially from the character designs, I think, come from Toriyama. Cool little camel. Every time I look at this, that's exactly what I think of, is Switchblade Shorties. Love this. I honestly don't recall any Sandland being in this. Yeah, there's no Sandland, so it's a possibility that, they might make another book, a 2nd edition, but no Sandland. Yeah, the world of Akira Toriyama. This is a fun book. Something that anybody can pick up, it's just an art book. There's very little to no Japanese in this. The amount of Japanese that is in this, you can just scan it with your phone and Google it. Lens will take care of that for you and just translate it. All right, Highway Star, good old Otomo. Again, another artist that's extremely influential. I really don't think I need to say anything on. I guess if you're not familiar with Otomo, the only thing that you really need to look up is Akira. Just look up Akira, and you'll know everything that you need to know about the guy. Now, this isn't anything like Akira, I would say. It's definitely a lot more restrained. There really isn't any violence in this, really. I need to look up exactly what's going on in this and kind of what the story is behind it. There's a lot of text. I wouldn't necessarily say that this is something that you can, follow along with. It's one of the reasons why I love Akira so much, is because you can read it without, knowing any Japanese and know what's going on. Yeah, I saw this earlier that somebody had left a bookmark in here. It's a cool image. You can definitely tell that it's Otomo through and through. To the point that some of these characters, it's almost infringing on Kaneda's design from Akira. They look pretty much almost identical. Yeah. Some beautiful drawings in here. But like I said, I'm not entirely sure exactly what the story is about or what's going on in it. I have to do a little bit of research on it. It's Otomo, so I picked it up. This is something that I see floating around all the time online and whatnot, so I finally decided to pick it up. Highway Star Deep Purple song. I mean, come on. Alright, this is one of the things that I picked up from Dave that I was the most excited about. So this is going to be the Dark Horse Star Wars Dark Empire 1 and 2 collection. This isn't anything really special, it's just translated from the original American comics. This has always been one of my favorite Star Wars images of all time, is this one right here. Coloring in these books has always been one of my favorite parts about these books. The watercoloring reminds me a lot of Nexus. But yeah, this is just fun stuff. Like I said, it's not anything super fancy. It's just the Dark Horse collection that they had put out for the Dark Empire, translated into Japanese. But if you want something to look cooler, you gotta put it in Japanese. Like I said, to me, the big takeaway from this book is the coloring job that's on it. The inking that's on it is also amazing. Just the drawing. I think the overall package, yeah, just the designs on this, crazy. Just everything in these books overall, just the whole package. Gotta give a shout out. Good old Tom Veach. The box is really cool. So yeah, Star Wars Dark Empire 1 and 2, translated into Japanese. It's a fun little package. Alright, this is more or less going to be the same thing. This is going to be a Japanese translated version Topps put out in the 90s. Small little book, you can see it's about the size of my hand. And again, it's exactly what this is. Scully Mulder. Just the Topps comics, translated into Japanese. Keep all the American sound effects. Every once in a while in these books you'll find that they'll change the sound effects and whatnot to Japanese. I do love these Topps comics. Topps was on fire in the early 90s, to be honest with you. They were doing these X-Files comics. They were doing the Mignola Dracula comics. The Jurassic Park comics are kind of eh. But, they did the Mars Attacks comics. Those are fantastic. So don't sleep on these old 90s Topps comics. They're fantastic. I own, I think, maybe one issue of the X-Files Topps comics. So this just kind of rounds it out, finishes it out for me, and I'll have to go get it. And then plus, I'm more of a fan of black and white. So seeing this stuff in black and white, especially those bright digital colored 90s comics, seeing them in black and white, it's a treat. Okay, so we got some Japanese movie programs. Let's go ahead and let's open up all three of these individually, and let's go ahead and flip through them. First one we're going to take a look at is this Gremlins movie pamphlet. This is something that we used to do in America, but had kind of stopped. At least we used to give out little brochures. They still do this over in Japan, to where it's basically like you go to the movie, they give you like a souvenir. Most times you have to pay for it, but it's just kind of like a synopsis of the movie. Sometimes they come out after the fact, but a lot of the times it's when you actually go to the movie. It's kind of like part of the experience. You just go there and there would be like interviews, behind the scenes shots, things like that, kind of about the movie. Some of these are only a handful of pages. Some of them are big thick boys. Like this one is a bit thicker, as I think Gremlins would justify. Love seeing Gizmo with some Zipatone on them. Take a look at that. Some fun stuff. I love Gremlins. Definitely one of my favorite movies of all time. However, and this is something that I've told Dave before, I love the new batch, and I think that I like the new batch more than I like the original Gremlins. The new batch is a batshit crazy movie, and I think that's why I like it. It's just, Joe Dante says, I don't want to make another Gremlins movie, but they want me to make another Gremlins movie, so I'm gonna make you a Gremlins movie, you know what I mean? He just takes the gloves off and he just goes. Good old Joe Dante. One of my favorite directors. Yeah, these are fun books though. Peak of the Devil. Joe Dante, there he is with Spielberg. So this is something that was really cool that's in here. It's kind of jacked up. It doesn't sit right, but it's supposed to be a pop-up of Gizmo coming out of the box. It's ripped, unfortunately. However, it still works. It's just, I don't want to force it, you know what I mean, and make it any worse than what it is, but you can kind of see his eyes down there kind of chilling, but you get the idea. Kathleen Kennedy, really? I mean, that makes sense. She's probably at Amblin, right? So. I love these designs. Probably one of the more memorable scenes in the movie. Hell yes. When I saw this, I got pretty excited, I'm not gonna lie. I love this drawing. Now this right here. One of the most badass things is in this movie pamphlet drawing. Good old Spike. One of the more infamous villains. Here he is again. It's Mohawk. I got a little Spike action figure. Probably should have pulled him out, showed him off, just because we're looking at Gremlins, but whatever. Phoebe Cates. Good old Fast Times, all right, ladies and gentlemen? All right, so that was the Gremlins movie pamphlet. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. Jean-Claude Van Damme, Hard Target. Jean-Claude is one of my favorite 90s action movie guys. He definitely played more into that B side of things, kind of like your, Steven Seagal tier of action hero. He obviously definitely exceeded that. Steven Seagal is, that dude's a loser. Hard Target, I don't know if I would put this at my favorite Jean-Claude movie. It's either got to be, man, Bloodsport's an all-time classic, right? It's got to be Hard Target or Bloodsport. He punches a snake in this movie. So now that I think about it, Hard Target has to be the best Jean-Claude movie. Emotep. He's got that 90s denim suit on. Hell yeah, man. This movie is so fucking good. If you've never seen Hard Target, stop what you're doing right now. I don't even care if you even watch the rest of this video. Go watch Hard Target. Good old John Woo. He is the man. Like I said, if you haven't seen Hard Target, go watch it. It's good shit. Rambo movie pamphlet. Well, this back cover is probably one of the most badass images I have ever seen. I love the silver, the chrome that comes off of this. But just look at this thing, man. The Japanese, their graphic design, they get it right. They know how to make everything look cool. Something that the American artists really need to start taking note from. They've been doing this, since day one, just design like this. It's beautiful. It's so good. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Where do you guys land on your Rambos? What's your favorite one? I know people are of the mind that it's either part 1 or part 2. Definitely different movies, obviously. I think Part 1, in my opinion, is the better movie. I kind of lean more towards Part 1. I love that 70s grimy, down and dirty look that the first movie has that I feel like the subsequent movie is kind of lost. And I like the reboot. I watched it recently. There's definitely some stuff in there, especially story-wise, it doesn't hold up so much. A lot of plot holes, but the action in it holds up a lot. So it's not too bad of a movie. Really cool image. Well, Stallone wasn't always one of my favorite action guys. My tops are always, I mean, come on, it's always got to be Arnold. We're like Arnold and Wesley Snipes. Bruce Willis is up there for me. Nick Cage as well. I love Nick Cage. Just going to show this off again. So good. Rainbow Movie pamphlet. My number 1 pickup. This is Kodansha Kids TV magazine from 1994. This cover is both the coolest thing I've ever seen and the most anxiety-inducing thing on the planet. There is so much text and images that are on this. It is so overwhelming. Just look up here at the top. It's like you got text, 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 text. You know what I mean? There's text over text on top of text over text. Like back here it says TV and there's literally text over top of that. Like I said, it could be a little bit of anxiety inducing, but I kind of love it. How it's just, we're going to take everything possible and just throw it on here. Here's Kamen Rider. Here's Ultraman. Here's Sentai. Here's Turtles. You know what I mean? Godzilla, Gamera, Sailor Moon, Gundam. Let's just throw it all in here. This magazine is the coolest thing that I picked up. There's a lot of goodies that are in here. Let's quit delaying. Let's look into it right away. You get hit with some Ultraman goodness. And then down here, it's just a little add-in. Kind of giving synopsis of these turtles. Raph. Mikey. I love the Japanese art down here. My boy Donnie, the best turtle. Rocksteady Bebop. Good old Razor. Razor, I guess is how you would pronounce his name. I could name about half of these figures probably. Some of these, I'm not too sure, like, what the hell even is this one? I've never even seen this before. It's like Hot Shot, Gorilla. Yeah, what is this? I'm not too sure. I've never even seen this before either. This almost would pass as a Motu figure. Gonna have to do some research, I guess. My turtle knowledge is lacking there. And I fancy myself as a turtle collector, so shame on me. Another little insert, Super Sentai, aka Power Rangers over here in America. And then there's some stickers in here. Now this thing is really cool. I don't know this monster. I'm not super deep into Ultraman. I like it, but I'm not super knowledgeable on it, so I'm not too familiar on this monster's name, so I apologize. But they're little cardboard cutouts of Ultraman in this, so you can kind of stand them up. That's really cool. I will never take them out of this magazine, but it's awesome that you can do that, kind of snap them together into a little cardboard toy, standee sort of thing. There was also supposed to be a Kamen Rider mask in this. I can show you towards the end. Yeah, so you see it's kind of giving directions on how to build the things that are in the mag. This was missing out of here. I was curious if this was even supposed to be in there, and it is. Scanned this, and this kind of labels all the activities that are in this book, and the Kamen Rider mask was one of them. Unfortunately, that's missing. I'm a big Kamen Rider guy. It is what it is. The other inserts are still in there. Super Sentai action. I'm a big Power Rangers guy, mainly just Mighty Morphin. To some extent, Turbo is decent. which I believe was the follow-up to Mighty Morphin Gundam. Some good old Transformer action. Ultraman, Super Sentai. Where do you guys land on Ultraman? How do you feel about him? I think he's cool, but at the same time, it's kind of like, you know what I mean? The dudes in the rubber suits and all that, that's why I love kaiju movies so much, but the design of Ultraman in general, I don't think he's like the coolest looking character, you know what I mean? Some more Ultraman. That thing is something of fucking nightmares right there. What is that? It's more Gundam. Now here's what everybody came for, right? Good old Kamen Rider. If you're new to the channel, Kamen Rider is my all-time favorite Japanese TV show, I guess. Gotta give anime props to Golgo 13, but Kamen Rider is probably my second favorite manga. It's just a good blend of that light-heartedness of Power Rangers. Has the cool kaiju designs similar to Power Rangers, or monster designs similar to Power Rangers. The motorcycle Bugman, superpowers. Guess technically he's a cyborg, but nonetheless, no Kamen Rider. What is that? A little pistol from something. I like how they just advertising a knife and a pistol in a kids magazine. The Japanese, they love their air pistols, air guns. This is really cool. Well, it's like a physical model, like it's not a 3D render. That's awesome. What is this even? I'm not entirely sure what this is, but this is really cool. Gotta do a little bit more research on that. Good old UFO. I don't know what this is, but it's advertising his butt. And that he eats trash. Oh, I guess he eats trash and he poops it out. Alrighty then. What's your favorite Godzilla design? I always gotta go straight to either the original Godzilla, 70s Godzilla, or Godzilla 2000. Probably the top Godzilla designs for me. I was freaking out when I saw this. Just like, oh, we're just gonna throw in some video game walkthroughs in here. It's like, oh, okay, like that's cool. Dave, I'm sorry, but I gotta return this to you. Sonic will never be in this house. No, I'm kidding. I'm just talking about these games. This X-Men game is, oof, it's not good. Now we're talking about video cassettes that they're going to be selling. And we get little tastes of some manga here in the back. Some Chibi Kamen Rider. Look how cute he is. I love him. Really not a fan of chibi style, but if you're gonna draw my boy Kamen in that style, can't pass it up. Some fun Mario drawings. Some wild stuff going on there. Gotta call up Miyamoto and ask him if this is canon. Sir, is Michelangelo and Fish him with Mario, is that canon in your universe? Yeah, just look at this, man. Just seeing these drawings is so cool. I wonder how often they released this magazine, just because the design and the amount of editing that you probably had to do for this magazine is just off the charts, man. It's probably monthly, right? if I had to guess, if not bi-monthly, but it's hard to say because sometimes the Japanese are crazy and they're like, oh, no, we're going to be doing this shit weekly. Love the purple ink. Some Ultraman manga. Yes, look at this, man. It's badass. Every time I see a foot coming down like that, it just reminds me of the 99 Godzilla movie with Matthew Broderick in it. The cameraman standing in the middle, you know, the foot coming down. It's like, I think that was in like a Taco Bell commercial back in the day. As a kid, sadly, I liked that Godzilla movie. I think there's some redeeming things that are in there. Is it a good movie? No. Visually, it's kind of questionable, but there's still some redeeming qualities to it. I think it gets shit on unfairly, to be honest with you. But like I said, is it a good movie? No, but it's one of those things that I throw on in the background every once in a while. We'll look over and be like, ah, that looks cool, or you know, whatever. But it's like a noise movie for me. The way that Mario and Bowser are drawn here reminds me of like a Newgrounds artist. You know what I mean? Like somebody over on Newgrounds is making some Mario comics. Kind of like the way those turtles look, give them that actual like turtle beak. That's cool. Ooh, got some Mega Man action going on there. Fan art, I'm assuming, is what this is. That's it. All right, like I said, this is Kodansha Magazine, 1994. You can't find these floating around online. These aren't super expensive. They're like in between 20 to 30 bucks, kind of depending. The earlier issues, like this is number 5, so the earlier issues are a little pricier, especially if they still have the inserts in them, but they're not crazy expensive. Okay, so that was everything that I had manga-wise. Everything else is pretty much going to be all American books. Like I said, I did have a couple of toys that I was going to show. For the most part, though, all of these books that I picked up from Dave, it's just going to be a cover, and we're going to move on. If you want to see me crack any of these books open, actually take a look inside of them, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'm more than happy to make a video and to do so. But there's just so many books that I picked up from them. It would be an extremely long video if we actually cracked all these open and took a look at them. So, let's get going. All right, we got Creepy, number 42. Warren Mag. Fangoria, 120. Army of Darkness cover. Famous Monsters, 125, May 1976. Famous Monsters, 163, May 1980, Friday the 13th cover. Famous Monsters, November 1979, Alien cover. Monster, 157, September 1979, Dracula in Moonraker cover. Famous Monsters, 98, May 1973. This is one of my all-time favorite covers of Famous Monsters. Famous Monsters, 151, March 1979. There is a specific reason why I picked this up. I'm going to open it up and show it to you. So in these Famous Monsters, or I guess in any magazine or comic back in the day, you know, you'd see fan mail in there. So somebody had reached out, and in Famous Monsters, it's called Fang Mail. Haha. As you can see, Fang Mail. People write in and, you know, talk about it. So, Todd Zimmers, he is somebody who is also in, you know, Dave's community, in the comic book community. He had also purchased this book, and Dave had a duplicate, so that's why I ended up with another one. But he picked it up because, you know, he's in it, and he told Dave to flip to page 3 or whatever. And there he was. He's a OG Famous Monster fan. I thought it was kind of funny, so I grabbed this. So, hey Todd, if you're watching this, you've been forever immortalized on the internet. You're welcome. Famous Monsters, everyone. If you're a fan of Famous Monsters, you're a friend of mine. All right, moving on here. Another one of my all-time favorites, Famous Monsters 120, October 1975. There is a Famous Monsters Comic Con costume parade. So as you can imagine, the cosplay in 1975 isn't to the standards or what it is in 2024. I honestly am going to open this up and show this to you because there is an extremely funny picture that's in this. All right, so here we are. Let's go ahead and flip to the con page. All right, here we are. So this is the Monster Con Parade. So you can see that, you know, this Bride of Frankenstein, Vampirella, Dracula, and whatnot, they're not super extravagant costumes. This is a comic convention in the 70s, ladies and gentlemen, and there isn't going to be a lot of people there at this time. So the people that are doing this, they're going to be real diehards. So here's what I want to bring attention to, right? So we have this lady dressed up as Vampirella. She's scantily clad, not really wearing anything. So we just keep on flipping. Awesome costume. I believe that person ended up winning, what I remember reading in this. But yeah, here's this picture. So here's Vampirella and all of her not really wearing anything. This guy over here is kind of laughing, you know. But just all of these kids over here. Oh man, they're having the time of their life that day, weren't they? So I thought that was kind of funny when I saw that. What a beautiful cover that is. Famous Monsters 120. Famous Monsters 142, 1978. Star Wars. Famous Monsters 121, 1975. Karloff. Mummy. The Cartoonist Buck Rogers Rubin Awards from 1969. Not 1968. Somebody had to cross this out, and they're correct. So whoever had done that back in the day is right. You know, I'm an artist, so I collect weird oddities like this, convention programs, award programs, and whatnot. So this was something that I picked up. There's a really cool picture in here of Will Eisner and Rube Goldberg, like kind of standing side by side. It's a really cool picture. They're kind of two OGs. Big fan of Eisner and a big fan of Goldberg, so it was a cool thing to see. I also forgot to show this off. Dave had given this to me for free. I won this in a like secret raffle or whatever. If like he bought a book, he kind of like puts them on the back. It's kind of like a secret blind bag thing, so you don't know if you're gonna win it or not. Just some fun little stickers that he picked up from Japan. He kind of threw in the order for me. Now we're gonna move along to standard comic book size stuff. Cyberpunk #1 Innovation. Looks like V. Same haircut and everything. Good shit. This is honestly a really cool book. Marvel Comics presents Wolverine and Nightcrawler. You already know. Big Sam Keith guy, so gotta buy it when you see it. Sam Keith. All Red, The Avery Man. Good shit. Long Shot 5 and 6, R. Adams. Gizmo and the Fugitoid, #1. Yellow Dog Comics, good old R. Crumb. Skull Comics #3, Underground Goodness. Cool cover. Detective Goops. Alright, you sorry sacks of shit. Put them where I can see them. Punisher War Journal. Good old 90s cover nonsense. Keep adding them on the collection. Shadow #3. Love My Kitchen Sink Comics, Wisconsin man here. Bizarre Sex #2. Wayward #1, signed by Eric Larson. Jimothy Lee X-Men #1. This is my favorite variant cover. I don't own it, so I snatched it real quick. It's got my 3 favorite X-Men on there. Cyclops, Wolvie, Iceman, in that order. King Size Hulk #9. It's a fun cover with a good. Junior and Friends, Peter Bag, #1, #2. Okay, well I guess that's gonna bring us out of everything that I picked up from Dave. So let's go ahead and move into the toys. So I picked up the Incredible Hulk McFarlane Toys statue. Comes with a little card. It comes with a copy of 340, which if you don't have a copy of this is probably the cheapest way you can buy a 340. If you guys haven't seen it yet, I'll put the link down in the description, but I had recently done a video on Todd, and literally in the middle of me editing that video, this statue had showed up at the doorstep, so I couldn't even add it to the video, unfortunately. Would have been a nice time to do that, so if you want to check that out, like I said, the link will be down in the description. Feel free to check out that Todd Respective. We're gonna show some B-roll here of the statue in general. You know, you can see that still to this day, McFarlane, in terms of the detail on the toys, keeps it at a extremely affordable price, and they're beautiful. That's where I think his company really shines, is the statuesque sort of things. Even in the Spawn stuff, I think that's where his company really shines. So if he continues to make like these sort of cheaper PVC style, instead of like, you know, the resin that's a little more expensive, keeps making these style things, I'm gonna keep buying them. He did a Wolverine, he's done a Captain, did a couple Spideys, picked up some Street Sharks. Big fan of Street Sharks. I always laugh because, you know, Street Sharks is kind of like a, you know, it's a Turtles knockoff. But I grew up watching it. You know, I'm 31. I grew up like right in prime time, Street Shark time. Project of the 90s, so. Another one that I picked up here was Dr. Paranoid, another Street Shark. He's pretty fun. He's got a rocket firing arm here, and then as well you press his back and he, you know, he flips from his normal version to his Piranha version, which this is how I keep them displayed. But this is one of my favorite Street Shark toys. This Street Shark line that Mattel has been doing is honestly awesome. If you've collected retro Street Sharks before, they're very, very similar, if not identical. They just have better articulation, so it has that soft feel shark skin, has all the same action features, and I will put my vintage right next beside the new ones. In most cases, I prefer the new ones because they stand easier. That was one of the reasons why I hated the older Street Sharks, because you try to stand them up, they would just constantly fall over, because they're almost Street Sharks. There's a mechanism in them, and when you pull down on their fin, they bite. So I'll just pull him back down. I was kind of showing it. So when you pull down his, see, they bite. So they're really top heavy. It's like right here, it's almost hollow, so you can see I'm like pushing in on it. It's like the real feel shark skin vinyl. They constantly fall backwards or forwards. So being able to actually move their legs around is awesome, and not having them have, you know, be in a static position to where they constantly just fall over. So shout out to Mattel. Okay, so that was a, you know, quick little toy look that I picked up. So let's go ahead and grab the 3 things that I recommend for you guys to add to your collection. I lied. I have the complete Crom. Had this still sitting to the side, so I forgot about it. So hey, little bonus I got, I guess. The season of the Snoid, not the Noid, Dominoes, the Snoid. Not even gonna open this up and show this to you guys because, oh man. All right, now we're gonna move into the top 3 things that I recommend for you guys to pick up from my recent haul to add to your collection. All right, the number 3 thing I would recommend to add to your collection is going to be this famous Monsters from October 1975, number 120. Creature from the Black Lagoon is my all-time favorite Universal monster. It's probably my favorite Universal monster movie. I have a original Steve Rude painting that my girlfriend bought me for Christmas hanging up. Like I said, I'm a big fan. Pink also happens to be my favorite color. So, you know what I mean? I'm biased towards this, is what I gotta say. Recommend to pick it up. Look at this thing. Number 3. It's gonna be the number 2 thing that I recommend to pick up is the Rambo movie pamphlet, movie guide. Again, I'm just gonna show it off. This back image. This is the reason why you want to pick this thing up. If you're a fan of Stallone or a fan of Rambo in general, I think this thing is really fucking cool, but that image on the back is so strong. I think that the back cover should have been the front cover, you know what I mean? So good, so good. So this would be the number 2 thing I'd recommend to add to your collection. And you guys should have seen this coming. Kodansha Kids TV magazine from 1994. I'm the biggest Kamen Rider mark. I'm the biggest Godzilla mark. I'm the biggest TMNT mark. I'm a big Power Rangers mark. You see what I'm getting at? The Japanese people, they know what they're doing, and they're teaching their kids right over there, you know what I mean? If mommy and daddy would have handed me this book when I was a kid, maybe I would have been better off, you know what I'm saying? Alright everyone, so that's where we're going to wrap the video. We went ahead and we looked at a haul that I picked up from Dave over at West Coast Avengers. I give you my top 3 recommended books to add to your collection that I picked up today. And then as well, all the links for Dave's channel and for the videos that I recommend to watch from when he was actually hunting these books are going to be down in the description. Go ahead, leave a comment, let me know what your favorite manga is. Let me know if you ended up picking up any of these books or if you want to pick up any of these books. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for hanging out and talking comics. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.